Hi, I'm Judge Penny Wolfgang. As we get ready to recognize the impact Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had on civil rights, we will talk with the leader of one of our hometown organizations making a difference in Buffalo. Then, meet Tarika Duncan, Hall of Fame CBS News correspondent, and remembering the speech that changed the world, right here, right now, on The Big Picture. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. The Buffalo Urban League's mission is to empower African Americans, other minorities, and disadvantaged individuals, a mission that continues decades after the inception of this vital organization. And here to tell us more is Thomas Beauford, President and CEO of the Buffalo Urban League. Welcome to the program. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you, Judge Wolfgang. Thank you for having me.
Okay, well, I'm really excited to let our viewers get more information about this important organization. It has been in existence for quite a while, but I worry that maybe people aren't aware of how long it's been in existence and what its really important mission is. And I know you can explain this better than anybody.
Well, yeah, thank you. I'm going to give it my try, all right?
Yeah.
So I'll start with when we were founded back in 1927. So in a year, we'll be celebrating our centennial. And as you mentioned, our mission continues to be the same, although some of the programming and services, change over time. But, our program and services are there to help, our community achieve economic self-reliance, power parity, and civil rights. So, we adjust our programming to the community's needs.
Well, I guess we should talk about the programming. It's very important, and it's very diverse. So let me just ask you to talk about the different categories of programs and what their importance is.
Sure. So I'll start by saying the demographic we serve is broad, anywhere from childbirth, all the way through. We serve members of our senior community as well. Programming, when I mentioned childbirth, foster care and adoption program that we've been running since the 1980s, and housing, education, workforce, and a lot of in the child welfare space, as well as now we're in the health equity space, so we're doing a lot there. Our programs are very well tenured. We have over 100 employees, and we're mainly located at 15 Genesee Street downtown in the downtown Buffalo area.
To go back to that, where you're located, I understand you're going to be moving or expanding or changing?
Right, so I would say expanding. So we're downtown, but we do have our plans that are already launched to construct a brand new facility, our empowerment center in the Jefferson Avenue corridor. Around Jefferson and Dodge is a specific location. So we'll be able to co-locate some of our programming next to some other really great institutions, Johnny B. Wiley, Makowski School, and People Link has a new facility there as well, and Say Yes is located there. So we want to create some critical mass and form an important anchor, be part of that to really help with the revitalization of that commercial corridor, and just continue to empower that neighborhood.
Yeah, that sounds like a really important move because, as you just said, the other groups that are there. Let's kind of talk about the different programs, the importance of the different programs, and probably at this point, maybe one of the most important would be the workforce aspect.
So workforce is there, and we try to move people through to that workforce programming. And at this moment, we serve mostly youth and adults. So we serve youth 16 to 24 years old. We also have a lot of programming that we're doing in the reentry space, right? So a lot of returning citizens, we're getting them back into the workforce. We're focusing on wage and family sustaining wages, and really trying to introduce individuals into careers or jobs that we know will have a long-term career impact and where they can progress. So, we're excited about that, and we're in the construction field, and we're open to many other opportunities and we partner with both public, private, and philanthropic organizations to move our mission forward.
Yeah, you kind of answered what I was thinking about. The question is like, who do you work with on these programs? It's got to be a collaborative with the other organizations, but also the schools. Let's talk about the schools.
The schools are important. So, you know, we get a lot of our work done through our collective strength, right? Our strategic partners, even in the healthcare space as well. But with the schools, we start all the way from elementary school. We just started forming an adopt a school relationship with School 99, the Mikowski School, where we'll be co-located. And, you know, we work with the university and different institutions here through some of our programming, local colleges and universities to offer our programming. And we also have a great relationship with Northland Workforce Training Center.
That would be very important.
Yes.
What are some of the issues that Buffalo is dealing with in the inner city? What are the main issues?
Well, some is just, you know, trying to navigate through the challenges that are there as a result of long-term discrimination practices where the economics of certain neighborhoods, specifically the east side of Buffalo, did not progress and they were you know, they did not get a chance to be involved in even the last 20 or 30 years of the Buffalo Renaissance. So, you know, we want to make sure that through education, through job opportunities, through workforce, to address all of the health conditions that are there that affect people in that community, specifically African Americans and other black and brown people, in a way that is greater than other populations. So, you know, all of these long-term impacts on social determinants of health and wealth, we're there to, you know, address them in the best way we can.
You mentioned health, so I'm sure that's a big issue.
Right, right. And, you know, now there's a great understanding that, you know, health is just not, you know, your medical health or your psychological health, but how, you know, adequate housing, good education, earning a good wages, being employed, transportation, and all of these things contribute to overall health and, you know, allow someone to reach their greatest potential.
And I know mental health is an issue too.
It absolutely is.
Especially after COVID.
It absolutely is, especially after COVID, and you know, this community especially was impacted from May 14th, right? So a lot of trauma from the incident, generational trauma, ancestral trauma, all this stuff that has, you know, lingered over the years and sometimes been compounded by the conditions that existed disparately in many communities. So, you know, working through that, you know, from children who are dealing with that as they go to school, parents and families, helping them move along. And, you know, we try to have wraparound services in all of our programming. So you might come for workforce, you may come for housing, but you still have these issues that we can help with around the behavioral sciences.
I can't get over when you mentioned like cradle to grave, like going from preschool to senior citizens, right. How services go, as you said, wrap around, but also all generations. It's amazing.
Absolutely. So, you know, that's part of our whole ecosystem. Our programming is very intergenerational because, you know, everyone can contribute in their own way, and introducing and watching those programs interact together is just amazing. You see how much lift you can get by having those programs interact and co-located. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to move to our new space, because you know, our space right now is our main office downtown, but we have about 7 satellites. This is going to allow us to move some of the programs, a lot more of the programs, into a shared space. So we know that we get a lot of synergy out of that.
And you mentioned transportation, so that'll be helpful too, to be in one location there, right. I'm sure. You kept saying we a few times, and I want to talk a little bit about the diverse board of directors. Who is we? Oh,
right, that's a strong we. So yeah. In addition to the staff that I mentioned, we have, you know, and I'm fortunate to have an excellent board of directors. Our current board chair is Eunice Lewin, SUNY trustee, and you know, she's been involved in so much of the community, so she brings wonderful resources. But you know, when we tried to build out our board, you know, I came there after my predecessor, Ms. Brenda McDuffie, who was there over 20 years. So, we had some changes in the board. Some people had served a long time, and as our bylaws dictate, we wanted to build a more resilient board that could take us into, the next era of this organization. So we have members representing most who have strengths and bring resources from most of the programming that we offer. So from the workforce space, from the healthcare space, we look for, time, talent, and treasure from all of our board members. And, it's, like you said, it's very diverse. They are very concerned about the mission. And, we meet frequently, and, I'm just grateful to have a board that's supportive, right? A very active and engaged board.
But you mentioned time, talent, and treasure. The most important talent is you, because it's such an interesting story about what you did before in banking and how you got to be the executive director. I want everybody to know about it.
Okay, so thank you for asking that. I've been at the Urban League. I joined in September of 2020. An interesting time to be making a career change. We were in the height of the pandemic. We were facing our presidential election. We were doing the 10-year census. So we just had a lot of change, going on, a lot of uncertainty. But that said, I still thought it was an opportune time to be moving from my former career, which was a banker. I was a banker for over 30 years, started in New York City, and moved to Western New York with HSBC. That organization allowed me, I grew up in New York City, in Brooklyn, so that organization had an international management program that I was very much interested in. So it gave me an opportunity to work as a secondee, an expat, mostly in Asia, and just introduced me to so many things. And I got a chance to come here to continue some of that work. I thought I would be coming for 2 years, was my plan, and then kind of going back to Asia. But, in a classic boy meets girl situation here, I met my wife, Stacy, here, and she's a Buffalo native, and, decided to stay here, grow my family, and I think next month I'll be here actually 20 years. So so much for that plan. And just before joining the BuffaloUrban League, I was at M&T Bank, another organization that's really, really focused on community engagement. So this all kind of worked together.
We have a policy here that we only interview people who are expats, who started out in Brooklyn or Manhattan, and then met somebody and came here and stayed here. Yeah. And that's our policy.
Is it the Erie Canal? When they say something in the water, is it that?
Something in there. My husband used to say it was the Fresh Air Fund, that I took her out of the slums of New York and brought her up to wonderful, he used to say
it could be that, but we have stayed. We have stayed, and it's a wonderful place to stay, and I've, great friends here, great relationships, and it's still a place where I feel like I can contribute and bring all of those, resources, all of those experiences. And, I did go to graduate school here at the University of Buffalo too. So, I thought it was a great place to be. And, in terms of the transition, even while I was a banker, I was very much involved in some of the community efforts with other boards, and I continue to serve on boards. But, it's like, it was a lot of work with 2 jobs. And then, I found this opportunity at the BuffaloUrban League, where I felt like, hey, I have one opportunity to serve, to feed my family and feed my soul at the same time, right, with one job, and that's been great for me.
It is a perfect combination. Mm-hmm. And also, I wanted to just mention that, or for you to mention, that in the Urban League works with other employers, and you mentioned the bank, but other employers for job training and whatever here in the community.
Right, so we work with other employers through different, again, strategic relationships we have, not only with banks, but also in the manufacturing field, in the medical field. We have, we worked with training for individuals in the healthcare, even starting out as community health workers, community navigators. So, we're we're working with some of the other local universities as well to offer training and programming. And we look for, additional opportunities where we can be collaborative and we can be more successful and more as collectively than we can do individually. So those things are always important to us.
Now, I know every year you have a fundraising gala, and our very own John DeSciullo has always been kind enough to be the MC for it. And I want to tell everyone how important the funds are and what the importance of the gala is. Right.
So our funding largely comes from public, private, and philanthropic sources, but you always need monies that are, and most of it goes to running our programming. We don't, we're just about 15% of our revenue that we take in actually goes to administration. The rest really just goes to programming. So you always need additional funding to keep the lights on, to keep other things going. So this non-restricted funding is mostly from our annual gala. It's a wonderful time. It's been going on for over 20 years. John DeSciullo, as you know, worked with us even prior to me being there. He's one of the people that helped launch the whole thing and get it to its current prominence. We probably have about anywhere from 800 to 1,000 guests. And this year, it will be at the Powerhouse on October 30th. Friday, October 30th. So that fund goes a long way in supporting all of our programming and making sure that we have all of the resources and the infrastructure, to support all the work that we do.
Now, we're related at this time to Martin Luther King and recognizing Dr. Martin Luther King for his work, bringing people together. How important is Dr. King and his mission to you?
I mean, extremely important. I mean, his message mainly of service, right? And not just service in the sense that if you're someone prominent, if you have these wonderful skills, or you have more letters behind your name than you can count. But what he said is everyone could serve, right? Everyone can do something, and so we try to make sure that we incorporate our staff. We reach out to. We have a young professionals group that ages like 21 to 40 that we bring in to make sure that our programming stays relevant. And we also have our little leaguers, which are grade schoolers, and really trying to introduce them to civic engagement and seeing how they can understand what's going on in their community and how they can be a part. So we will be working on that King Day. It's a day of service.
Like we said, from cradle to grave, like you said.
Absolutely.
How can people find out more about the Buffalo Urban League, the gala, everything else?
Certainly, they can reach us at our website. It's www.bulny.org.
Well, thank you so much. It was just great talking to you.
Thank you.
I learned so much. I hope all of us did, of the importance of the Buffalo Urban League and about you.
Oh,
so
thank
it
you
was
so
really
much,
great
Judge.
talking to you. And we really appreciate it, and we will be right back.